Hey guys, Boris Oscar BK Force. Welcome to the weekly technicals for Euro dollar, dollar yen, pound dollar for July 31st to August 4th, 2017. Huge week ahead of us. Data everywhere. Will the dollar care is the story of the week, as we have data actually in almost every spot of the G11 universe this week. Very important data sets. The critical question, of course, is going to be whether the data on the US side is going to be positive enough to stop the absolute onslaught that we've seen in the dollar over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Last week, despite the fact that the Fed sort of reaffirmed its commitment to being a hawkish Fed and is still very much on target to try to hike rates by December, the market just didn't believe it, and the dollar fell further. So the question very much remains exactly whether the dollar is going to be able to stabilize this week. But we certainly have a lot of data points to look at. Let's take a look at the calendar first, and I'll get to the charts in just 1 second. So on the calendar side, as far as the majors go, on the U.S. side, we really start with ISMs, and then after that, of course, we have the non-farm payrolls all the way at the end of the week. So on the European side, we have just a smattering of really second-tier data, unemployment data, market PMIs, nothing really much going on over there. And the UK data set also has a whole bunch of PMIs, including the PMI services, which are going to be very, very important. So UK, its own story, going to have very important data sets. As far as US non-farm payrolls goes, I think the market is looking, 178 against 222. Anywhere around that level will be okay. If we print 150 or below, that should be a very big warning sign, and the dollar is going to get pounded again. If we print much better, if we print 225, if we print anywhere close to above 200,000, that should be the time where the dollar really finds a little bit of a bottom. It's hard to tell at this point. Certainly, we are overstretched on every single level as far as the anti-dollar flows go. Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the levels here for just 1 second before we get to the charts. Resistance in the euro 118. We probed at 1710, came out above it, and kind of just held up a little bit in front of it. Now support is even higher at 116. Dollar yen. The one positive thing about the dollar is that dollar yen has not broken 110, but we're getting close to that. And if we have negative numbers, that's going to be the crumble territory. That's going to be the key line to watch. And cable looking very well bid. I think we have also, I believe we have the BOE this week too. Let me just double check. There's just so much on the data set as far as the UK stuff goes. I think we have to go to Thursday. And we do have the BOE meeting. And that, of course, could be a very, very big tell as well for cable, because last time we had, I think the vote was 3-5 against, meaning that they still want to keep rates at the current level. If we have one more member of the Bank of England Monetary Policy Committee committing to a rate hike, that should be incredibly bullish for cable and push us through 32, despite the fact that if any kind of weak economic data that happens, because the market is going to be looking at what the monetary policy is signaling, and if the monetary policy is going to be hawkish, cable has more to go. Let's take a look at the charts here. You can see, so euro still very much a nice strong uptrend, but the power of the move on a weekly basis was small in the week prior, and we are up against this very, very big. Let me actually just make this a little bigger so everybody can see this. This is a weekly chart, up against this major resistance point, which we did probe above, but not convincingly. I still think that maybe 1850 could be the exhaust point here for the euro. 120, of course, is what everybody is targeting, but I don't think that's possible without some sort of a pause here in the euro for the near term. On cable, the move has been very consolidative, but we've been consolidating very well underneath this 129, holding that bid. Closed pretty much on the highs of the week, pretty bullish close, and certainly have a chance here to now target this 132, 133 level, especially if the Bank of England comes in hawkish on Thursday. That could be its own separate story, and cable could be a really interesting run as we go higher. And then perhaps the most interesting thing here, this whole dollar yen story. So yes, it looks very ugly. We ended on the lows of the day, but, and this is sort of the very thin reed of hope that the dollar bulls have, we're still at higher lows. We're still showing a modestly bullish trend line here on the dollar yen. If we break the 110s, it gets much more uglier. And of course, the 109s is the really big support. A breakdown here would really just seal the fate of a negative dollar trade. If we can reverse this move here, we certainly have a chance here to go back up towards the 1200, 1250. Momentum very much against the dollar, but we are at pretty key support here at this 1050 level. We'll watch how it trades out from the beginning of the week, but it's really, really going to be very much data dependent. So I think this week, more than any other week, we're going to have data coming from every angle on the majors, and it's certainly going to be very much worthwhile. Momentum-wise, we have slowed our ascent against the dollar or the dollar's decline, and maybe that's the best that the dollar bulls can take away from this. But I'll be watching this very carefully. As I said, if 110 holds before the non-farm payrolls, and non-farm payrolls a surprise to the upside, we could have a reversal week in the dollar. Certainly very much due for it after being so skewed negative for so many weeks. Wish you guys the best luck trading. Boris Schlossberg, over and out.